when we did the budget.
Well, wait, it runs from September 17th through when?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, so it's the full 2 weeks of September.
The money that we get
And if
in.
we come up with 30 or anything, we can be in the black by the end of this budget. Even if we're down 17 and we pick up 30 or 25.
Well, no, 30 is included in, yes, 30, if 30 would have a, if we did our income right, we'd break even. Our budget was a break even budget.
Right. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I know we certainly can't fault.
What did we do last year? 24,000? Last pledge drive?
Yeah.
What we did?
When is Westfest starting on the 17th?
Yes.
Okay, so.
I think this brings up the question of where are we holding Westfest?
Well,
That's
we
not-
can't discuss that at this point, but let's just clear up the, okay. So, Sandra,
So I guess I make a motion to pass
pass
this,
the
this
budget.
treasurer's, or pass the treasurer's report. I don't even know if we need to, it's just, I'm just
Well, we
submitting
should,
it.
at least for the record. We'll put on file the treasurer's report of this month. I'd like a motion to approve.
I will motion to approve.
Second, please. Second, please.
Second.
Got a second? Okay. Any questions on the budget? No? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. No opposed. Okay, good on the budget. Treasurer's report. Thank you, Sandra.
Yeah,
Nice
it
job.
would just say, yes.
Thank you. I know.
Thank you for acknowledging it.
I certainly do, because I'm terrible on budgets. I can only extrapolate what I see, so putting it together is not my forte. Reports, all standing reports should be provided in written form 48 hours in advance of the meeting. If you look in the back of your packet, there are some reports. Let's see what we got here. That's okay. I see the report from the programming committee. Is there anything from the programming committee to add to the report?
I added, I thought I sent it to her. Who is it?
Is this it right here? I'm looking at the,
No, I did send the programming committee report to her, but apparently it didn't get in. The programming committee is working pretty much exclusively on the standard operating procedure for air shifters and for the programming committee. We still have we're still looking at program proposals. And I've got a meeting, Sandra's going to come into the meeting tomorrow night and talk about C-Press radio.
okay.
But we are pretty much exclusively working on the things that they said that we should be working on in the associates meeting.
Okay, so as you know from my email on this.
I can't be the chair of the programming committee.
Yeah, so,
Oh, sure, no, what I'm just saying is I don't feel that it's actually, this is something that the AEC itself needs to take care of, not something that we take care of. So.
So I need to talk to Feldman and.
I think so, yeah, at least that was my reading, and as I said, with the bylaws, they need to be rewritten, but we're obligated to revise them and update them at least every 3 years. So we're already due for that.
okay.
But part of the wording on that, I think, is what had made a couple things unclear. However, I still feel that the wording is clear enough that it needs to be done by the AEC.
Okay, so we need to contact the agency as soon as possible.
Yeah, now, I can't remember because it's right by the door, I have everything color-coded and everything, but, so, if we had wanted to change something, let's say the AEC doesn't think it, wherever we decide it's not AEC. We can make some revisions, but they have to be voted on by the associates. Now, we have our public meeting for the associates. If the associates refuse to make any vote on it, the things will ultimately pass. So there is some provision for that, but if it were to be that the AEC and everyone here decides it's not the AEC for some reason, we would, whatever changes we made, we could not pass finitely. We would still have to have all of them go by and be voted on by the associates. So basically, everything we do either way is definitely the associates are going to go through them, and I feel that it is the AEC's province here.
Right, so we need to contact the AEC, Feldman and Company, and our next, I don't know when they meet, if they meet, but the next associates meeting is in September.
Okay.
So, are we just gonna go along as we've been going along until September?
Till September.
I don't know about I was thinking about the contract, like the rewriting of that.
Then just ignore the contract.
Well, that's what I was saying. I
Yeah.
think that is all part of,
Right.
I think that they need to establish that.
Okay.
They, meaning AEC, need to establish that, meaning,
The air shifter contract.
okay, I thought we were, I
And
thought we
the
were.
other programming bylaws that she said they were rewriting
Well,
SOPs.
Okay, the programming committee has dropped the contract all the way around, and
Oh,
we're
okay.
working on a standard operating procedure. Now, my guess is that the board and the Associates Executive Committee, or some part of the board, the Associates Executive Committee and the programming committee have to get together to agree on standard operating procedures, or is that?
I
they
don't
have
believe
to-
so. In fact, I think, and that's why I think that in the
Okay.
AEC's wheelhouse, I think it's set up so that the board and AEC are separate, such that the associates
Right.
are still running things, because in theory they have elected people to the board and whatnot, so this is still ultimately in their hands. So that's why I was saying I think they really need to look at and address that.
Okay, so if I get things and send them to them, and they look at them and make changes, because see,
I think it's that maybe they need to sort of revise it, and I don't. We can,
Yeah.
we can look at the bylaws, because I guess I'm the only. Do you have a copy? Because I feel
Yep.
like I'm the only one that ever brings it.
it's,
Okay.
I was just looking.
10.5.
It is 10.5? Okay.
Yeah, I put whatever numbers in that email that I had.
Yeah,
Okay, the programming committee is responsible for developing, evaluating, and changing the program schedule within the budgetary guidelines established by the board of directors without prior board approval. The chair of the committee shall be an associate. The programming committee shall evaluate and recommend other programming policies for consideration by the board. Okay.
so
board.
basically,
That's
the programming
programming
committee
committee.
is in charge of programming and
Fine.
considers things that are
Fine.
recommended by the board, unless we want to spend money, in which case we have to get approval. But the programming committee is in charge of programming in general.
Right.
Consideration by the board, not by
And
the
the
associates.
only thing that is a problem there is who's the
Last
chair of the programming committee.
Right.
Consideration
Yeah.
by the board, not the programming, not the associates, like you said, so.
Right.
It
But
comes-
the chair
It comes
did-
back to the board.
Who's
Okay.
that?
That
Who's on
does,
the
but-
Associates Executive Committee anyhow? It's Feldman?
Schwartz?
That's actually why I was wanting to know the breakdown of all the committees.
Is she still
and part
on?
that would have been helpful.
Who?
Evelyn,
I'm not sure.
I think she's still on it.
I'll just get the binder. Yeah, I can't remember. I've been able to make the last two.
Is Bruce on it?
I didn't think so.
Who is on it?
So the program
Ben
committee,
Schwartz might
who has to
tell
be
me.
headed up by an associate, okay, can provide all that information, but it has to come to the board as a 10.5
Right.
for approval. So it
Wow.
comes back to us.
What happens is the bylaws say that the chair of the programming committee has to be an associate.
That's correct.
If they want to change the bylaws or not change the bylaws or find somebody else to be the chair of the programming committee, since I'm the chair now and I'm on the board, I either have to get off the board or I have to drop the chair of the programming committee. So that's the two things that need to be done.
No, there's only one.
Is there a problem with stepping down as head of the programming committee then?
No, unless there is nobody on the programming committee that actually wants the job.
She doesn't have to leave the program.
Well,
that's what I
She just
mean.
has to be out of the
Exactly.
chair.
Right.
That's exactly what I was trying to
She can stay on the
say.
program.
Right.
Just get somebody
So
to
an
agree to be
associate, one of the
behind.
program committee people can take over.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was trying to
Okay.
suggest. Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's no reason that she'd have to
Alright.
be head, but she could still be on
Yeah,
it.
that's the issue, is people on the programming committee.
But
There's the only people who have been there for as long as I have are Rich and Denise.
They're not on the programming committee.
Except they're still attending meetings until September. Denise isn't sure she wants to stay on the programming committee. Rich does.
we just elected
they're
someone
not-
to programming
There's
committee.
there's nobody on the programming committee but me and Robert and, see,
Britta,
We
Britta.
did we just elect Evelyn?
We
And
just
Evelyn.
elected Evelyn, so it'd be
So she's on there.
a
Yeah.
choice between Evelyn, Britta,
Yeah.
and, Evelyn and Britta.
Okay.
Wasn't Evelyn the
And
chair
Rich.
once?
I think she was, yes.
Well,
No,
I
she
thought
was-
You- I
when
thought she was-
when I got
I
my
thought she
program, it
was.
was Evelyn who,
It
Yeah.
was not, it was Eunice Underwood.
oh, it was Eunice, that's right.
Eunice,
not
Was it
Evelyn.
Eunice?
It was Eunice, right,
Yeah,
Okay.
Eunice,
yeah.
but anyhow,
There are two people who are, interested in being on the programming committee. They're coming to the meeting tomorrow night. They
there
want-
are two other people, who was it? There were two other people. Crap, my brain is.
I would like to, make a motion that we, in a move of, I don't wanna say emergency, but temporary emergency management, not force Barb off of the programming committee as chair until we have, I would say, 3 months to deal with the that knowledge coming to light so that we can recruit enough people into the programming committee to, potentially,
Choose an associate.
Yeah,
All right, so you
and I
want
will
to
say,
shorten that up a little bit?
she wants
And-
to,
You want to make a motion
Motion.
that keeps,
make a motion
that Barbara
to,
stays
Keep
in
us
the
illegal
chair
until-
until September and the associates meeting?
to keep operating as we are now until after September. Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll
No,
second.
Any second, okay.
definitely not.
All right, any discussion? You
Yeah,
opposed,
I
that's
feel,
okay.
yeah, I feel that we've already had at least 1 month on this. I've been discussing this before then, so this is not something that just come up. We've been trying to figure this out, and while I realize maybe it's inconvenient for us, we have a legal obligation. And we can't just keep putting off our legal obligation indefinitely. So just, this is another area which,
We can-
it's
we can
inconvenient,
post-
but
we
just
can- okay.
because we may not like the other people in the committee or think they have an experience, well, we have to explain to them, we have a legal obligation. And if they're committed to the station, they'll have to decide, oh shoot, one of us have to step up, maybe both of us will have to work together, co-heads or something. But like, that we'll have to come to something, but I don't think we should keep putting these things off.
That's your opinion.
Oh, yes, yes.
Sandra?
I don't think I think we brought it up the first time at the end of the last meeting. That's when we discovered, as far as my recollection. I don't think 1 month is extreme. I don't think anybody would think it was extreme to ask us to have an exception till September.
Talking about 1 month message.
It's part of, what I, like to say about WEFT is like when we start valuing the airwaves, other people will start valuing the airwaves, and we can't just throw.
Precisely.
there's a programming meeting.
Hold on, I'm not
tomorrow
done.
night.
I'm not done.
Sandra's got the floor, please.
So that would be, I would stick by my motion. I think
Okay.
that we
And
can't
have a
allow that.
second. Andrew, you have a discussion.
I'm just going to say, do we have anyone willing to step up and take Barb's place as chair? I mean, has anyone
It
said
would have to
anything?
be somebody who's an associate, not on the board.
Right.
I had
Okay.
talked to Evelyn about it, she was potentially.
She is?
Yeah, if Evelyn Underwood is the associate, is the chair of the programming committee, I will quit.
Yeah, we
And I will
would.
probably
Yeah,
quit
no,
well.
I know,
I would
probably
not put
everybody
Evelyn in
would.
charge of the program.
Evelyn will do it, but she can't.
No.
She doesn't have the ability to do it.
It's a hard job.
I agree.
And I will not be on a committee with her as the chair.
Okay.
But that's, we have a meeting tomorrow night at 7:00. Anybody who is interested in programming in any way, shape, or form is welcome to come. I'm gonna make sure I invite, whoever's on the AEC, if I can figure it out. And, we'll discuss it then.
Well, then why don't you just send out an email saying you don't want Evelyn and you don't want anyone that currently exists there. So you'd like to get some more people on the board that think more like you do and that you want to do what you do. And then just put that out to everyone else and then we can give them a
Basically, what I will
month.
say that
and then
anybody
from
who-
them.
Basically, what I would say, if I send out an email, is that anybody who hasn't been on the programming committee for at least 6 months to a year doesn't know enough to be the chair.
That's not, well, I would disagree if I could have the floor from
We're right now,
That,
we're
neither
just,
one of
hold
the
on.
people is not gonna be the chair.
We're discussing Sandra's motion we're not gonna get into anything else here except for the motion. The motion is seconded. The motion is to move this to September, and we've got a second. Okay, now,
I'm
I
saying,
agree.
sorry,
One second.
yeah, sorry.
I agree with Sandra, and I agree with Bob on her opinion of who would be the best to put the chair in. But I think waiting until September would be apropos for the associates meeting, when we can open that up on the floor of the associates meeting and have them choose some other people for the programming committee and someone who might want to volunteer as chair, and then it can be approved by the associates, okay? And so that's why I'm going to follow up and vote for the extension to September, so that the entire associates can vote on this thing and get that, and get some real, we can talk about, well, this person might want to be on, this person, we don't know. What we need to know is when you have 30 or 40 sitting around, who wants to be on the program committee? I do. Then you can decide on who the chair will be at that point. So that's why our discussion here has got to be about this motion to move it to September. And I'd like to call the question on that.
Sure. So
Okay.
what I was going to say was that I would be amenable to that if first there was an email sent out now, setting up the situation, explaining that the current choices are
Why don't we do this?
undesirable for whatever reason. Maybe it's that
I know
Evan's
what
only
you're saying.
hasn't been there 6 months, whatever it is.
What I'd like to do is
And then-
move that for Vicky when she comes back as the chair of the board, to see if she wants to sit down and write up and have her put together an email, if she so desires, on saying very simply that the programming committee chair will be elected at the next associates meeting.
But
Well,
I
they
think
have to be elected at the programming committee meeting, but we have to have enough candidates to make it a viable
Which will be after the
choice.
associates meeting, hopefully. Okay, so.
that's why I was thinking, if
That's-
something was done now, because that would give enough time.
Again, we're going off on a tangent. This is not, we're gonna send out emails on this thing.
But it is
Our
because
motion
you're trying to
is
recruit people for the later
Our motion is to
meeting.
move this to September, when the associates meetings take place. Period.
Okay,
That's
well,
all.
my vote is I'm fine with that if only this condition of we are addressing to people and admitting, hey, we're not going to address it right now because we want to do this, we want
Yeah,
to do it at the
that's fine
associates
if
meeting.
we-
But if there's an
but-
email sent
but
out now
that's-
to acknowledge basically transparency.
Okay.
Yes, we realize it's not quite legal, we're working on it, this is what we're doing to work on it, and it gives people a bit of time to prepare for
That's
September.
exactly what we're doing now. It'll come out in the minutes when it goes out, that we're moving this to the associates meeting.
But it needs to
Okay,
be a slightly
for-
more than just in the minutes. It
What?
needs to be made more public than that, and that's
You
what.
want it? You know, an
You're
announcement.
recording
Yes,
this.
I want an official
You're
announcement.
recording this, and you can put on Wefto, please go to my recording for the board's move on the September associates for the program committee.
And hell, get the timestamp actually. when you get back.
And that'll have everything that they need to see, because we're now recording it verbatim.
Right.
Okay, so there you go. All right, so, okay. All in favor of moving this to September so we can get new associates onto the program committee, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Aye.
carries. Thank you. Did you say no?
Yes, I
Okay,
Yeah.
one no. Motion
Two noes.
carries, 2 noes. Motion carries 4-2.
Nice.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to the next reports. Building, engineering, PR, finance, digital, underwriting, pledge drive. Is there any other reports? I see a report from the administrative side. Bruce is not here for maintenance, so we'll have to, and I don't see anything else in writing from any other reports. So we'll move on to the corporate administrative report. Have you guys read that yet?
Yeah, this is Megan's report.
Yes, this is your report, Megan, right? Do you want to have anything, let me just quickly go over anything important other than,
Sure. Maybe we should
Okay.
as well. So, yeah, things have been, we've rearranged a few things, so, I'm still kind of helping Dylan oversee him doing some of the more administrative paperwork tasks around the station. That has freed me up to work more on underwriting, development, and other fundraising activities. So we do have some new underwriters that have been added this month, which is really amazing. The Upper Bow, Champagne Telephone Company, Minuteman Printing, Chicago, or Champagne Park District, as well as the Blind Man. The Blind Man and Minuteman Printing are both partial in-kind trades. So for the blind man, we're getting one to the office as well as something in the front window left where that desk is, because especially in the summertime when it's 90 degrees out, it becomes extremely hot and unable to work at, and just really heats up that indoor space. Minuteman Printing has done a trade with us for another 2,500 of our grid postcards, which we just have locally for the barbecue, which is wonderful.
And I think we got rid of most of them.
Did we? All right.
We got rid of all we had over there at the Blues Fest, I know that.
Yeah, I think that they packed up a decent amount of them, but I think we still have quite a few of them in there, so,
Okay.
and that's something we can always order more of if we need to as well. So I've been able to be out about more, making phone calls and checking with people for, new potential underwriters, people who've been underwriters in the past, touching base with them again. For WebFest and Fall Fest Drive, we have had a couple of meetings for both of those. They're kind of being developed into one committee at the moment. WebFest being not only our regular annual celebration, but the community have live music, but also the kickoff for the Fall Flash Drive at the same time. I did have a meeting on Friday with the Champaign Police Department, who would have to approve the shutdown of the block of Market Street right out in front of us from Taylor to University. And at this time, we have gotten approval for that. So if that's something that we want to pursue, we do have that option. There are a couple things we'll need to kind of talk through with the committee on that as well. One being we wanted to have vendors out there serving alcohol. We need to pay for 2 police officers to be there during the event and risking people. We'll also be talking to a couple of food vendors. Todd Darnhill is going to be helping recruit bands to actually play the event as well. Quite a few bands have been associated with us in the past. And yeah, so things are kind of moving forward with that. We have our next we'll have our next meeting in probably mid-July. I don't think it's on the calendar yet. That'll go out on Web Weekly Essentials. We'll also send out another notice on WebO for people who still wish to participate. But it is moving along quite nicely, I believe. I'm also conducting a review currently of community shares program in order to see how we can increase our funds with that. We're actually spending on community shares right now, just a little more about how the program works. So the next board meeting, I should have a more detailed report on where we stand with that program. Other things, the Instagram page is now 71 followers and continues to grow, so that's great. I don't know if anyone saw, so our Twitter account, I sent it out on WebO, got a best of week from Smile Politely Nod, which is really awesome. Basically saying it was like the best Twitter account improvement for the area. So, it was under the music portion of their best of week, so that was great. So just that along with Facebook and Twitter, we're definitely touching more people in a new way than we have in the past, reaching for some new markets as well. So.
Thank you very much.
I
Great.
had a question about the underwriting, just so I don't know if
Yeah,
you're
sure.
what. So, Indy had actually doubled. His show's right before me, and so I know he said something about what he's supposed to do, and he talked to me a couple weeks ago, and I hadn't gotten back to him yet. Indy Gupta, he does the show
Okay.
East at Zero. So he has a special condition for his underwriting. Like he has some of his own underwriting. He wrote an email to the public, and so he was basically asking me. He didn't think it had been addressed well enough. So I was going to try to find out more information for him. So I know he's a bit of a special condition of he's been doing the announcements, but he already has several other things that he does for his show, and then
They're not
and they-
underwriting though.
well,
That was what he indicated.
yeah, but I think maybe they were sort of like I don't know. So I was wondering who he should go to talk to about
Vicky.
that. Vicky, okay,
Sure.
because
Let him go to
he's
Vicky.
right before my show, so he'd ask me like what's going on with that, and
Vicky will
okay.
take care of that.
And I just wanted to make sure I could point to the right person.
Okay, thank you, Megan.
So I didn't know if it was Megan.
That's
Okay, thanks.
great. We have the report from Wendy, she's not here, so, you guys wanna look it over, it looks like she's done a lot of work, and she's working hard. I'll tell you,
She's been busy.
on 2
Yeah,
ladies.
she has.
I'm very proud of the fact that I chose both of them, so I'm gonna take credit for that, of course Sandra had a little something to do with it. But I can tell you, I'm extremely happy with the work that they're doing, and how the place looks, and how the management has.
It's good to have somebody actually coming in every morning too at 9 o'clock,
No,
I see
so
Lane
thank you,
coming in.
and please say our.
I thought someone's Lane showed up about 8:30, you know.
All right, so that's our report,
Way too early
so
for
we
me.
have all the reports are in. Let's move on. New business, underwriting policy, Andrew, Robin, okay,
Oh, right.
let's go.
That's us three.
That's what you got.
Well, we rewrote them, and yeah, I guess we need to re-record some things, I imagine.
Or we just,
Are we
And then
gonna see
there's,
them?
oh yeah, we can, so I sent you, but I didn't,
you sure you sent?
Well,
Well, if you did, that might not be.
She sent them documents, yeah.
No, we can't do it this way. We have to have copies of it so we can look it over.
okay,
So
sure,
that
well,
we
we hadn't, so,
You wanna send them to us?
yeah, that's just fine.
Send them-
Basically,
send it?
we hadn't,
Okay. Why don't you do that?
we'd sent out a
Send them
draft
to all the
revision
board
to us,
members,
and
Send
we
them to
hadn't.
all the board members, let us look it over, and then we can comment on them and
Sure.
discuss it at the next meeting.
The short answer is, so what we were initially concerned about was the new underwriting things. As it turns out, it's just a problem across the board. People just all shows. So it's not just a new thing, a new person thing. It's not from one person, one group of people. It's just people have not quite understood that you can't use synonyms at times. Like there's legal ties to exact words you use. So you can tell that some people don't want to do the formula. So try to modify it a little bit, but in a little bit of modification,
Why don't
they
you
end up
send us all
selling
that
it.
you have, so it makes
Sure,
it
I'm
much
just saying
easier
that
than
the
us
short
doing
By
it.
the
answer
way,
is
my name should be on there instead of Robert's.
Yeah, it should be
It should
John
be Andy,
Parker.
Andrew, and me.
Sorry about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's okay.
So I was just trying to, the short answer was, we have revised it. We found a nice kind of formulaic kind of way to do it. And just because we talked about last time, it's not just a new thing. It's just something that
Okay.
clearly a lot of people have had problems
We'll
with.
look at it all
Sure.
on this
Yeah,
email,
not
okay?
only that, make
Andrew?
sure Megan gets a copy.
Okay.
Andrew,
One thing that really motivated us this year was we started looking over the FCC actual laws regarding this, and I think the best way to put it is there's a very big prohibition against upselling anything in any sort of underwriting.
Yeah.
Would be the best way to put it. So no details, it's bare bones, it's no frills.
Good.
Well,
That's how it should
I
be.
would just like to say that I would appreciate if you could look at other people's underwriting and know, like WILL's, who and
Yeah, see them.
others, to get some examples, because they have lawyers looking it over. And
that would be
we're-
helpful in the report.
Okay, actually, I did look at Will's, but yeah.
Look at comparable stations.
Yeah, I've
and how
actually
they work, that are
that, but yeah.
nonprofits.
Yep.
That'd be,
Yep.
okay, reasonable? Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, good. The Grateful Dead was added in. What's happening there?
Oh,
Sandy?
sorry.
That's okay.
It's, we pay for the Grateful Dead, $1,000 a year.
$1,000,
Last September, we okayed that, we would pay for it again if they did some fundraising themselves, being Dave Watsani and whoever he could recruit to help him. His underwriting that he was going to get actually was just a shifting of a different underwriter, so it didn't, he really didn't go out and get new underwriting. That didn't happen. He did a fundraiser. I don't remember what the results were. He's gonna have to tell us, and then we'll have to make a decision next time whether or not we're gonna pay that $1,000. The bill's due. I told her not to pay it
Are
yet.
we good until August on this?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'd like to move that we move this subject and put it on the agenda for next month. How's that?
Second,
Yeah.
Second?
I agree
Okay,
with that.
all in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Why are you saying August? Are we not having a meeting in July?
Oh,
Oh, July, yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, I lost July.
A lot of
Will
people
not
do
be
that.
back until August or something. No, July. Sorry, change that to July, sorry.
So
Okay.
I have another thing that either we need to talk about at the next meeting or, it's new business, so that's where we,
Well, you just can't add, it
okay,
has to be on the agenda for us to discuss it under new business.
okay, even under new business, okay.
Like, if you knew that you wanted to talk about it 48 hours ago, you should have said.
I didn't actually,
I need new business that has to be on the agenda. But go ahead, what is it quickly?
well,
so-
here, you can tell me whether or not we can discuss it. The up center needs to relocate, and I was thinking perhaps there'd be some way for us over the next number of months to work out something where they could lease our second floor. I know we have a fair amount of work to be put into it, but they are poor and are willing to possibly do some work, and pay for, whatever we need, but I know we need money coming in, and we talked about fitting that up before and for different purposes and possibly leasing it. So I just wanted, whether or not we want to accept it, I just want to throw out the possibility as something that maybe we could, and also would show our, help us invest more in the community and show that are kind of better involved with the community. I know there's a lot of other issues tied to that. I just want to throw it out there.
Okay.
I just discussed it with them earlier today because they need to move by the end of July at some point.
That was
So
my question.
that's
Okay.
that's why.
Sandra, you had something you want to say?
Off the top of my head, I think we're looking at a minimum of $70,000 estimated to make the
To make
second
that
floor
place
usable.
upstairs
There's no
reasonable?
electricity,
That's
there's
what
no,
Bruce said.
that's 70,000, so
That's what Bruce said.
FYI, yeah.
Bruce put out to $70,000.
I think, off the top of my head, it was
Which I
way.
think might be a bit high for us.
Oh, sure. I know we had discussed, and I didn't remember that there was any figures attached to it.
Yeah,
But we
there's
talked about either renovating for an apartment or just even like
Right, but
doing
there's a
other
building
stuff.
committee that's got a long-range, look at
That'd
that.
be
Sure.
on long-range facilities.
Yeah, there's nothing gonna happen in the next year.
Okay. All right.
Quick
Andrew?
question on that. That 70,000, is that to make it livable for apartments or just for business?
No, that's
Just
just.
bring it up to code.
Wow.
Okay.
Bring it up
See,
to
that's
code.
what I was thinking. I was
You know-
thinking we
you
wouldn't
know
need
what
the
code-
kitchenette. We
what
wouldn't
the
need a
codes
bunch of
are,
the
the
stuff.
Bring
We
it
could
up to code.
possibly,
No, I
you know,
wish.
And the
and then we
permits?
could.
I wish.
Yeah,
Because we need it for, we
I was
need it,
gonna
we
I've
need it
been
for
there.
offices.
We
I
have.
Well,
that's why I was asking.
No, we just need a bit for
One at a time,
archives,
one at a
but we
time.
could actually
Yeah,
then,
the county has 22 buildings, which I oversaw, and I can tell you, the cost of renovating any of them is
I think
exorbitant.
70,000 is bringing up to
Unbelievable.
code anyway.
Especially when you walk upstairs and you look at that place, and you see what that has to be livable besides health codes, city building permits, fire department, I mean, it is, believe me, it's something you may wanna really take seriously.
There's no electricity.
And get a number, there's no electric, that means they might have to rewire the whole place. They have the plumbing up there, you have to do new plumbing, you have to put in a separate, breaker box for a separate, I mean, it's just.
yeah, like I said, I knew
the
there's
costs
a
that
lot of
are
additional
tremendous,
things. I just,
tremendous. Okay, it's something to talk about, but,
yeah, okay,
okay.
no,
All right, let's
thanks.
move on. Old business, anybody with old business? Okay, fundraising is gonna be our pledge drive come September, we've already talked about that. So at this point, is there anything else? I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Anyone who wishes to go home? Second,
Yeah.
second, I didn't even get a first, but I'll first that.
Okay.
Second, all in favor, there goes Sandra with her cute little bonnet. I love that. Let's go home. Now, I think this might be a record,
It is
guys.
a record.
It's gotta be, yeah.
I'm checking, I wanna make sure this is in the
Anybody going
minutes,
back by the space?
that the chair,
no.
Chair Kurtz,
You are?
Chair Kurtz has closed the meeting at 7:48
Lady said
PM.
that with.
A new record
About
for
with
letters.
signs.
Oh, okay, good thinking for her.